the top somehow.
Yes, my Straight Talk family, you've heard that theme song, then you by now would know that it signals the start of Straight Talk for another edition on this Day of our Lord, Monday the 24th of November 2025. And time for me to say greetings to the entire world, because we are on the World Wide Web and we reach and communicate with you from the beautiful federation of two lovely islands and one beautiful paradise called St. Kitts and Nevis. So I am duty bound to say good night, St. Kitts and Nevis. Good night to the entire Caribbean region. And as I say, I said before, greetings to the world, because we reach and we communicate with you in the diaspora, the Kittitian and Nevisian and Caribbean diaspora all over the globe. And some of you I know are in Africa. There's some of you in Europe. There are some of you in Asia. And there are a whole lot of you all over North America. So I am at liberty to say good night. I can say good morning, and I can also say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And if you're a first timer, we greet you and welcome you to your first edition, and trust and hope it would not be your last. And just to inform you as well, first timers, that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On this program, we try to raise the level of national, regional, and international discourse. We try to raise the level of national, regional, and international consciousness by alerting all of our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liburn, and I thank Almighty God for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. And we want to thank those who continue to share the link. Please don't you stop. We get first timers. And for the first timers, as your host, I always pledge to remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness. I am absolutely must inform you that nothing is watered down on this program. We never try to make it more interesting by omission, neither by exaggeration. Because we are not about sensationalism. We're not about creating excitement, especially at the expense of accuracy. Because on this program, on this forum, we lean on the facts, as it is my bounden duty to present at all times what I call the unvarnished truth, the plain truth, especially when it comes to governance, integrity, accountability, and the list goes on. Wherever you are in or on the globe, whether you're here in St. Kitts and Nevis or elsewhere, because the program joins us together, not only with people across our federation, but we are joined with people in the diaspora all around the world. And some we know, and some we have met physically, some we have met spiritually. But there are lots of us, and we are different people. And because of that, we entertain what I call our diverse views. And some of us will agree with the truth that's expressed or advanced on Straight Talk, and some will disagree and find that's okay. And as I said, we accommodate, we facilitate diverse views because we're different people and we'll have our different opinions, of course. But please don't sadden me by becoming disagreeable. So let's thank Almighty God nonetheless for guiding our conversation tonight, and as always, and for helping us to understand, oh, how good and how pleasant it is when brethren can dwell together in unity. Let's live a hope and pray for that day when we will all sing his praise together. So welcome again, my people, and thanks to those who share the link as they bring first timers. Please continue to do so. And I must always remind you as well that Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean we entertain your calls, we include your emails as well. And the numbers are on your monitors. If you like the cloak of anonymity, I call it, the email address is also on your screens. And Straight Talk is also heard on Alexa, live on Alexa. And if you have that access to Alexa, all you gotta say, Alexa, play Massive Vibes Radio. And we thank, as usual, the owner for giving us access at a nominal cost. We thank those who have made contributions as well. It helps to continue this very important service, a public service. And others who may wish to donate, that code is on your screen. Simply scan it and you get access to the payment form. A very simple, confidential, and very efficient process as well. So thank you again for your support and for helping us to keep the dialogue alive. And we must say a special welcome to our Straight Talk Junior Brigade. That is something we can never, ever stop doing. We have to recognize our future, the youth, the young Dwayne. We recognize Jasmine, Tristan, Shema, Kevin, Rue, Travis Trevon, Jamal Van Willow. What about my grandson Neymar? I'll get in trouble if I don't hail him. And his good friends Soraya. And we just included Elizabeth as well, a new junior brigade. And of course, that special lady in St. Louis. We hear them all. And our observations in review, when we highlight our current issues, do some reflection, we ask some questions. And after our observations in review, we will begin our thesis for tonight. I have titled, Conceived 36 Months Ago. Destiny Approval Deadline in 36 days. It's coming. That's the deadline, my Straight Talk family. But on a sad note, Straight Talk today learned of the passing of one Mrs. Roma Grant Shoy, who has gone to the great beyond. And we were all saddened by this news. Roma, originally from St. Johnson Village, resided in Florida with her husband of over 40 years, I'm certain Douglas Shoy, who's left to mourn her loss. She also leaves to mourn two daughters, brothers Godard, Conrad and Junior Grant, should I say, and a sister Denise. I think they're all still in St. Thomas, along with her extended family in St. Kitts and Nevis. We know the beaches, their families as well would have lost Roma. And Straight Talk extends sincere condolences to her entire family in their moment of bereavement. Straight Talk will also wish to extend condolences to the family of Mrs. Enid Dorr of Ponds Pasture, whose body was in fact interred at the Springfield Cemetery today after a long and fruitful life. You understand, Dendy? Is it Dendy? Yes. I haven't seen Dendy in ages. You understand he's here for his mom's funeral. How many of us remember Dendy? He used to advertise at those labor meetings. Young guy at the time, young boy. And we also recognize her granddaughter Jahida. I haven't seen Jahida for some time. I trust all is well. But we extend condolences to her family. Her husband, Shoemaker Dorr, went a predecessor, and we trust her soul may rest in eternal peace. And on the regional or international scene, we learned of that reggae icon, I can call him, Jimmy Cliff, the Jamaica reggae star who helped to introduce reggae to the world. We hear a lot about Bob Marley, but we could never forget Jimmy Cliff, who died at the age of 81 years. And this report from the Associated Press capsules his life, the life of James Chambers, known in the music field as Jimmy Cliff.
Charismatic reggae pioneer and actor Jimmy Cliff has died, aged 81. With hit songs including Many Rivers to Cross, You Can Get It If You Really Want and Vietnam, Cliff also starred in and wrote the soundtrack to the landmark movie The Harder They Come. Cliff joined Kingston, Jamaica's emerging music scene in his teens and helped lead a movement in the 1960s that included such future stars as Bob Marley, Toots Hibbert and Peter Tosh.
Music can highlight awareness, And from that awareness, people can take some kind of action to better the situation. I think that's the role music has played through the ages.
Cliff was nominated for 7 Grammys and won twice for Best Reggae Album, in 1986 for Cliffhanger and in 2012 for Rebirth. In 2010, Cliff was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Give it to your word.
And yes, my Straight Talk family, with the soul of James Chambers, to all of us known as Jimmy Cliff, may his soul rest in eternal peace. And our first observation, I make reference to the ongoing failure of the St. Kitts and Nevis Social Security Board. And I say ongoing failure under the chairmanship of Mrs. Janet Harris, who failed to publish its financial statements and the latest actuarial review. And this is nothing short of an affront to transparency and public accountability. Now, Social Security is not a private fund. Social Security belongs to the workers and employers who contribute to it. So when the law mandates an actuarial review every 3 years and audited financial statements by the end of June each year, those requirements are not optional. They are legal obligations or designed, I should say, to protect the solvency and credibility of the fund. My Straight Dog family. And when they go to the website of the Social Security Board, you see, as you can glean from your screens, the actuarial reports going back to the 13th actuarial review and financial statements as of the 31st December 2023. And bear in mind that 2023 financial statement would reflect the year before. But the 13th actuarial review, already outdated, covers the period from 2018 to 2020. And that was signed off, it seems, in 2022 and only published in 2023. Now, the 14th review covering the years 2021, 2022, and 2023 have been signed off, we're told, since 2024, since last year, and still has not seen the light of day. And this can only mean that the Social Security Board is making major policy and investment decisions without providing the public with the most recent legally required data. And that alone raises serious questions about governance at Social Security. And the people of St. Kitts and Nevis have every right to ask, what is the board waiting for and why? When statutory bodies begin operating behind closed doors, withholding critical information that affects the nation's workers, pensioners, and future retirees, public trust begins to erode. The longer these reports remain unpublished, the more it appears that the leadership is choosing opacity over honesty. If the fund is strong, the board must publish the data. If the fund is under pressure, the board should publish the data. What they should not do is keep the nation in the dark. At its core, this issue is not political. It is about integrity in public administration. But when those entrusted with safeguarding workers' contributions fail to meet basic legal standards of reporting, they inevitably invite political scrutiny. And my straight talk family, in any democracy, accountability is not optional. And the people of St. Kitts and Nevis deserve nothing less than full transparency from those who oversee our social safety net, our largest social safety net. Our second observation, for some time now, the country has observed, and we made mention of this, that cat got marsh tongue, to use a colloquial term. But all of a sudden, Marsha has surfaced just like a Picasso, a great artist. She has disgusted the Macknight community by painting over the steps down there in Macknight, those famous steps that had the Garden Hotspur's colors, I understand. Belatedly, Marsha mounted billboards around the community, signaling what it seems to be the start of a political campaign after being missing in action. But the people have taken umbrage with the focus of Marsha, who has also painted the front of the public market. Well, people can't get water 24/7. They can't afford to buy food. And no doubt all the bread and butter issues have evoked this reaction to deface her billboards. All of a sudden, she mounted billboards all over the constituency. And no doubt this has really upset many in the community. And my Straight Talk family, those are my observations tonight as we will move right into our thesis, as I mentioned earlier, which I've titled Conceived 36 Months Ago. The Destiny approval deadline is coming in 36 days. And 36 months ago obviously takes us right back to 2022. And we note in recent time, even up to today, this most talked about developer, Olivier Johnson, has now come to the fore and doing what Mark Brantley and his cabinet has been doing for the last month or so, is his public relations work. But all of a sudden, Olivier Johnson has now come to the fore. But what a pitiful sight it was to witness a few Nevisians who took part in a so-called question and answer community conversation with the founder of Destiny, Olivier Johnson. And we looked at this carefully edited video that was originally recorded at a special luncheon held for a handpicked group last week, Sunday the 16th, at Palm Gardens, I think it was. I stand to be corrected. But was publicly aired only yesterday, Sunday the 23rd of November. And Olivier Johnson even spoke about the lunch.
Yeah, thank you for coming, by the way.
Yes.
Enjoy your lunch or whatever it is.
Yes, he spoke about the lunch. even some food. But even with the one or two hardball questions, Johnson's professional handlers choreographed the event very well, I must admit, my Straight Dog family.
Olivier, we have a wonderful group here with us, as you can see, and we're here to have open dialogue, a discussion. They have questions that are phenomenal for you to answer. So I've had to ask them to stop because I think you would be the best person to answer. The idea really is to continue transparency and to continue to give everyone the opportunity to hear it from the horse's mouth. Everyone, this is Olivier. Olivier, everyone, they'll introduce themselves when they ask the questions as well.
Yes, moderator Stephanie. But right after the 2020 elections, let's reflect. Mark Anthony Graham Brantley hatched what I call part one of his plan. First with Lindsey Grant and Janelle Powell. Then Brantley later on enjoying Sean Richards. And at the end of it all, Team Unity imploded, but that plan failed. Now, part two of Mark Brantley's plan with Olivier Johnson's is destined to fail as well under Terence Michael Drew. In spite of his braggadocio, his boastful and arrogant threat to Terence Drew, he said this:
CCM put you up and CCM take you down. Be careful with CCM. We are a strong, powerful party. And anybody that underestimates the CCM does so at their peril.
So yes, Terence Michael Drew, do not underestimate CCM. Terence Michael Drew already shot the sheriff, so he should not be afraid. He said to us he shot the sheriff. But the people of St. Kitts thwarted his plan with Sean Richards. The same people in 36 days would thwart, they would prevent his plan with Terence Michael Drew. Too often, we take the utterances of our leaders for granted, just like when we did when Mark Anthony Graham Brantley said this 36 months ago. Almost exactly 36 months ago. Remember, Brantley said this.
We want to do that South Coast Road to open up the south coast of Nevis for development. I've dubbed that our Southeast Peninsula 2.0 because we recognize this Kennedy Simmons Highway in St. Kitts opened up the Southeast Peninsula for development. We want to do the same because from you leave Long Point all the way around the Gingerland, there's no development, no infrastructure. We want to change that.
Yes, in December 2022, he uttered those words and that promise. But how many of us stop to think that the Southeast Peninsula 1.0 involved 2,500 acres of land and 6 of our best beaches? Remember, my Straight Dog family. How many of us remember this?
Christoph Harbor is 2,500 acres of land. We've got 13 miles of shoreline with the property, 6 beaches, of which I would argue that at least 3 of the 6 beaches are in the top 10 beaches in the Caribbean, which I think says a lot about the natural beauty.
So my Straight Dog family, I asked the question tonight. Do you believe that it's a coincidence that Mark Brantley's Southeast Peninsula 2.0, now called Destiny, is also 2,400 acres of land? Is that a coincidence, my Straight Dog family? Christopher Harbour had 2,500. He's targeting 2,400 acres.
In your conversation with me and us last week, you said this zone would be 2,000 plus.
No, let me correct that. I said they're targeting 2,000 plus acres of land. I think it's about 2,400 or thereabouts. That's the target area.
So he targeting 2,400 acres of land. Christopher Harbour, 2,500 acres of land. Coincidence? And $1 billion investment, according to Mark Anthony Graham Brantley.
So they're saying that the investment will be over $1 billion US, and they're saying that they're going to create thousands of jobs. Jobs during construction and jobs afterwards. So we have an opportunity, based on this type of development, to generate hundreds of millions of dollars for the government. Not for Mark Brantley, for the government. We're talking about that whole area, Saddle Hill, and those vacant lands being restored and revitalized. Shops, restaurants, cultural spaces. They're talking about the possibility of a marina. All of these will create opportunities for local businesses and tourism. They're talking about international hotel brands. They say that what they want is branded communities within the zone. When I spoke to the developers say they're speaking to the top 10 hotel brands in the world. And over the life of this project, they want ultimately to create 3, a minimum of 3 resort communities within that zone.
Sounds familiar, my Straight Talk family. Southeast Peninsula 1.0. Is it coincidence that South Nevis Limited will purchase 2,400 acres of land in Nevis, build 3 resorts, and generate millions for the Nevis Island administration? At Southeast Peninsula 1.0, they promised that in 20 years they would generate $17 billion. By now you know they owe millions of dollars to government and to the National Bank. And my Straight Talk family, like Southeast Peninsula 1.0, it also involved private land, recall.
When Christopher Harbour was created, out of the Southeast Peninsula, where not even 1 square foot of land was owned by the government.
Douglas did not tell us that 852 acres of land, or 854 acres of land, were acquired by the Douglas Labour administration, then sold to Christopher Harbour for $17 million. But my Straight Talk family, we stand here today and we cannot stop speaking about this special economic zone and its first project called Destiny. Because it is a matter of deep public importance. And we can never brush it aside. It must no longer be delayed or hidden behind closed-door conversations. Because for 3 long years, 36 months, this project has lingered, shifted, and evolved. But one truth has not changed. The people of Nevis deserve clarity, and that should be the people of Nevis and St. Kitts deserve clarity, accountability, and fairness. Now, we are told that within the next 36 days, a decision of profound consequence must be made. As Olivier Johnson, in a Zoom call to a group, including his lawyers, intimated quite clearly he did not intend to go into the new year. He also said that very early in discussions with the Premier, he was assured that whatever lands were required, they would even apply eminent domain. But he said he's not willing to go into the new year.
All the rumors that we already have a contract signed is completely false. So we're still negotiating with the government. We are in advanced negotiations, so we made it pretty far. But that might still take, I don't know how long, a couple of weeks, or hopefully sooner. I definitely don't want to have this go past New Year if we can, but we'll see where we end up.
Well, where we end up, he said we'll see. But he's threatened to move on. But deadlines can be useful for progress, but they cannot be allowed to serve as weapons. And Oliver Johnson has used this 36-day deadline as a weapon. But they cannot be used to restrict public scrutiny or silence legitimate concerns. Let us speak out, continue to speak out. Because recent discussions, including statements attributed to Mr. Oliver Johnson's, have raised serious questions about who knew what and when. It has been alleged that certain officials were aware of this project as early as last summer and before, well over a year ago. He told us this, my Straight Dog family.
First of all, why Nevis? Well, first of all, I am a Nevisian, right? So it's the first place I look at, right? And why would I go elsewhere to do this? So, contrary to popular belief, we haven't really made this very public, including to the Premier, for years. This not has been like a 3-4 year discussion. He was only made aware last summer, I think, about what we wanted to do. And
yes, for years he's been approaching landowners, yet the public remain uninformed. The fact that this comes from the mouth of the developer, as his focal point Stephanie said, the horse's mouth. This is not simply an administrative oversight. It is a breach of transparency. It is a failure to respect the people whose land, livelihoods, and communities may be directly affected. Let me speak plainly. When negotiations involving private-owned land and no one knew why land was being purchased, that creates a problem. Don't you think, my Straight Dog family? It certainly does.
The claim that somehow the real estate agents were aware, like way up front, and it's all like this political. This is not true, right? We did start optioning land way before that, but we didn't tell anyone why we were doing that. So we started probably by now 20 months ago, I think, just ballparking here. But for the first year, we didn't tell anyone why. No one, right? Literally no one.
No one knew. But the developers were obligated to tell those landowners, don't you think? With full transparency. It needed full transparency, not whispered assurances. Any suggestion that eminent domain might be used against unwilling sellers demands immediate public disclosure and rigorous debate. Eminent domain is an extraordinary power. And I know, as I've been told over a year ago, when Mama Brantley approached this particular lady living in Florida, and her family owns thousands of, hundreds of acres of land. She threatened that the government will take it anyway if they don't sell. An eminent domain, it is lawful, yes, but it is to be used sparingly, cautiously, only when the public good, not private interests, clearly and unquestionably demands it. But let us be absolutely clear. No resident should ever feel coerced. Because one landowner told me he sold his land because he got a threat that if and when they acquire the land, he'll be the last to be paid. So he gave up some of his land. But no negotiation should be ever hinged on secret promises behind closed doors. Yes, we have heard that Oliver Johnson's indicated a desire to end negotiations if it extends into the new year. So what? That's good. And that is his right. But the responsibility of Mark Anthony Graham Brantley and his cabinet is larger than any one individual or investor. Their responsibility is to the people they serve. Their responsibility is to the rule of law. Their responsibility is to the responsibilities, I should say, are to the principles of fairness that must guide every public decision. So tonight I call for the following. 1. Full public disclosure of all communications, proposals, and understandings related to this land project. 2. An independent review of any discussions involving the potential use of eminent domain. A pause on all decisions until the public has been fully heard, concerns have been fully addressed, and transparency has been fully restored. And 4, a clear guarantee that no landowner will be pressured or marginalized in these negotiations. But they have already been. As Oliver Johnson himself said, nobody knew what he was going to do with the land. But the issue is about more than land. It is about trust, my people. It is about our commitment to the democratic process. And it is about ensuring that no one, no government, no investor, no official can move forward on a project that reshapes our community without the explicit, informed consent of the people. Let us move forward together. But let us do so with integrity, openness, and respect. The people deserve nothing less. And the Nevis Island administration, also the federal government, as our representatives, must demand nothing less. Now, as a Nevisian born in St. Kitts, I implore all Nevisians to stand united by a simple but powerful conviction. Nevis is not for sale. St. Kitts is not for sale. And our future cannot be gambled away on a reckless experiment disguised as development. We have all heard the grand promises surrounding the so-called Destiny Project, a project promoted as though it could transform our island into the next Dubai, the next Singapore, the next DIFC. But let us speak honestly, my people. Such comparisons are not only unrealistic, they are downright misleading. They ignore our geography, our population, our culture, and the delicate balance of our environment. They ignore who we are as a people. Around the world, there are over 6,000 special economic zones. And history shows us that thousands of them have failed. Failed because they were rushed, like this one is being rushed. failed because they were imposed on small communities. And one of his own consultants, Dr. Andras Bogmato, said this, my Straight Talk family. He said this publicly.
So, actually, over the last decades, we have seen a massive rise of special economic zones. There are currently around 6,000 special economic zones around the world. 6,000. Now, not all of them are successful. I would actually argue that a small share is super successful and has really left an imprint on their home countries. There is a large number of zones that are so la-la, they are not failing, but they're also not really leaving a big impact. And then you have the zones that, frankly speaking, have failed.
Failed. They have failed because they made big promises but delivered bigger problems. And now we are told to risk Nevis on the very same model. My friends, we must ask, who truly benefits and at what cost? Nevis has a population of just over 13,260 people. Yet this project proposes bringing in 10,000 new residents, almost doubling our population overnight. Not gradually, not with community input, but in one massive disruptive surge. On just 2,400 acres, a full 6 square miles of the island. And remember, Nevis only has 24 square miles of accessible developable land in the first place, I must say. This project alone would consume 1/4 of the entire island's usable space. And let's just be clear, that is not development. That is downright displacement. It is not opportunity. It is overreach. And it is not a destiny crafted by Nevisians. It is a destiny imposed on Nevisians. We are being told that this project will make us the next financial hub of the Caribbean. What absurdity. But we must face reality and do not allow Mark Brantley, Olivia Johnsons, or anyone for that matter to continue to insult our intelligence. How can anyone in their sane mind make a comparison with Destiny in Nevis and the DIFC in Dubai? Nevis is not Dubai. Nevis is not a desert metropolis with millions of people and vast open land. Nevis is a small island within a federation of 2 islands built on community, culture, and a fragile environment that cannot simply absorb massive population shocks without consequences. What will happen to our roads, our schools, our water supply, our power grid? No matter what they propose, my Straight Talk family, our natural heritage, who will control the laws in this economic zone? There's no clarity. Who will enforce them? And who will protect the rights of Nevisians and Kittians when a privately designed enclave has more influence than the people who built the island with their own hands? We know the answer, and that is why we must stand firm. Let us be absolutely clear. We welcome development. We embrace investment. We embrace innovation and progress. But we refuse, absolutely refuse, to support any scheme that threatens our sovereignty, our environment, or our identity. Our island's destiny must be shaped by its people, not by outside interests, not by unrealistic comparisons, and not by projects that promise everything but compromise everything we hold dear. Nevis is small, yes, but our dignity is not. Our land is limited, but our resolve is not. Our population is modest, but our voice is powerful. So tonight, we say with confidence and clarity, this project may be someone else's dream, but it is not Nevis's destiny. Let us defend our heritage, protect our land, and chart a future that respects our scale, our needs, and our people. Together we stand for Nevis. Together we say no to reckless experimentation. Together we choose a future that is sustainable, responsible, and ours. Not one that is built on deception. It is pure deception when Olivier Johnson will say that no one, literally no one knew why he wanted the lands. That has to be deception, my straight dog family.
The claim that somehow the real estate agents were aware, like way up front, and it's all like this political. This is not true, right? We did start optioning land way before that, but we didn't tell anyone why we were doing that. So we started probably by now 20 months ago, I think, just ballparking here. But for the first year, we didn't tell anyone why. No one, right? Literally no one.
Deception. But a question we must also ask, my straight dog family. Why would Olivia Johnson's hire Sharon Mama Brantley, knowing that her husband, Mark Anthony Graham Brantley, would have to sign up on his project proposal? In Belgium, where he lives, and where he is still a citizen, born citizen, he would be cited for bribery. And Director of Public Prosecution Adlai Smith has an obligation to look into this incestuous arrangement. Why Nevisions or why Nevis was the question asked, and his answer is troubling my straight dog family.
Yes, I do have a Belgian passport, right? I actually have thought many times already to give that one up, but the problem is like I can't travel to Europe. I don't know if I can have visa free with St. Kitts for more than 3 months, so it caused some problems, right? Because I have a lot of family in Europe. So, but for me, my Belgian nationality, I don't feel Belgian anymore. Honestly, I have nothing to do with that country. I don't like the way they're going, so I feel much more aligned with Nevisians and St. Kitts and Nevis. That's all I can say about my passport, right? In the future, I only have one other passport, which is the Belgian one. Will I give that one up at one point? Maybe yes, if I can find a solution for Europe to be able to visit for long periods of time if I wanted to. But for me, that doesn't mean anything anymore.
But if it means nothing anymore, Olivier Johnson do not feel Belgian. So give up your passport. Mr. Johnson, you have my straight dog family, a Nevisian passport. You love Nevis so much. You love Nevis so much. So give up your passport. You can't fool us. But real estate, my straight dog family, in conclusion, is the new plantation. It is what some call a new method of colonization. In this, the 21st century, colonization does not come dressed in flags, armies, or declarations. Colonization operates through contracts, speculative capital, and special economic zones, we now learn. The new colonization does not require settlers to cross oceans. Investors cross borders digitally, purchasing neighbors. They will never, or neighborhoods, I should say, they will never live in. Pricing out residents they will never meet. Oliver Johnson claims he puts seed money to start the project, and the units we are now told are sold under our CBI. What is the cost of the project? We don't know. But remember, Mark Anthony Graham Brantley bellyached, and rightly so. He bellyached about 5.5 thousand shares given to Galaxy. But he gives destiny. He convinces Terence Michael Drew to give Destiny 10,000 shares. Hear me out. Mark Anthony Graham Brantley bellyached, and I say rightly so. He bellyached about 5,500 shares that were given to Caribbean Galaxy. But here he comes, and he encourages Terence Michael Drew to give Destiny 10,000 shares. This must be criminal. No wonder he no longer talks about fair share for Nevis. My straight dog family, he don't talk about fair share for Nevis because Oliver Johnson talks about his seed money to start the CBI project.
From what I have read online, I can see that you are a crypto billionaire or a cash billionaire. I'm not too sure, but my question is, with a project of this magnitude, where is the funding coming from?
Yeah, thank you, and nice to meet you. Good question too. I won't go into specifics about my net worth. I think it's always overstated, right? I can tell you that I have enough to fund this project, and like any project that's proper residential, you work through a combination of seed capital, where you fund the first phase of that. Then you will start taking deposits or payments for the units, and that will help contribute building it. And we will abide by strict rules that we cannot spend any money ourselves and take it away, because I know in the past there were some pyramid schemes where you start building a project and then you wait to sell the next units and you take the money already, and we will have strict accounting standards that can never happen. We will also be very transparent about that. But yeah, what we basically need is the seed capital to get to the phase where, and already invested a lot of money to get to where we are today, right?
Let's just see the records. But yes, my straight dog family, Oliver Johnson's net worth is overstated, as he's not a billionaire. He's not a billionaire. But if this project in its form is not stopped, then he will make billions. The chamber has spoken. The Bar Association has spoken. So to the Hotel and Tourism Association. They have all spoken. And Straight Talk would like to commend and thank patriotic minds like Gada, Gerald Anthony Dwyer Astafan. Give credit where credit is due. We must commend and thank Charles Wilkin, QC, or Kessie, that should be. We must commend and thank Sam Condor. We must commend and thank DJ Morishaw, Concy Mitchum, Dr. Kelvin Daly, Carly Jeffords, that lady Miss Lawrence, and other Nevisians. All Nevisians and Kittians too, who have recognized the importance of their land. This scheme, my Straight Talk family, was conceived 36 months ago. Destiny approval deadline is coming in 36 days. Let us continue to resist these vagabonds who want to deceive the people. That's my story tonight, my Straight Dog family, and I am not going to change it. I'll open the lines and entertain your calls and your emails. And when I do so, I anticipate that you will be fair to, you will respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. I anticipate that you will be fair to all concerned and will try to build goodwill and better friendships. And in the saying and doing those things, I trust you will try as well to build goodwill and better friendships. And in the process of saying and doing those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, at 9 o'clock, right to the top of the hour, I go to our first call and say, good night, caller, you're live.
Good night, Mr. Liber.
Good night, my dear. Sounds like my quotation.
A lie doesn't become truth.
A lie?
Lie.
Lie.
L-I-E.
Okay.
Yeah, a lie. Doesn't become truth. Wrong doesn't become right. And evil doesn't become good.
Okay.
Just because it's accepted by a majority.
Because it's accepted by a majority.
I repeat, a lie doesn't become truth. Wrong doesn't become right. And evil doesn't become good just because it's accepted by a majority. Have a great evening.
Have a great evening as well. Always providing our thought-provoking quotations each time. This lady from across the Narrows. And her quotation tonight, straightforward, a lie doesn't become truth. Wrong doesn't become right. Evil doesn't become good just because it is accepted by a majority. My Straight Talk family, it's 2 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. Our lines are open. We are including your calls. We are as well including your emails. The numbers are on your screens. If you're so minded to call in, feel free. The numbers are clear. Hope that my lines are up and running. I didn't try my overseas line before I came live, but I believe all is well. And I'll confirm that now that my overseas line as well is up and functioning. And yes, it is. So my lines are open, my Straight Dog family, and we are accepting your calls. If you have just joined us, our thesis tonight conceived 36 months ago. Destiny approval has been given the deadline, 36 days. Olivier Johnson has decided he's not willing to go into the new year with this project. Let's go back to the lines and say goodnight to this caller. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller?
Mr. Straight Talk.
How is my brother from another mother? I recognize his voice. Abracadabra.
Abracadabra, Mr. Straight Talk. How are you, my brother from another mother?
I am peaceful, my brother. What about yourself?
What can I say? Last week, man, I text sick and I tell you, it wasn't easy. I couldn't even do that. I didn't sure if I was going to go to work. But by Tuesday morning, I'm good and ready to go. Spend some time at the hospital. They don't know what was wrong. I just take sick by eating something. And they said, no, you didn't eat that thing that you eat. It was one of the best thing for you to eat.
Yes.
So you didn't take sick by that. So I tell them, it's all right. I'm going to do what I have to do. So spend some time home here, so that's why you didn't hear from me last week. But Mr. Straight Talk, you're sounding good tonight. You're sounding real good that things are going the way we want it to go. Understand? You're sounding good. So I have hope that it's going to come true the way we want it to come true. You know, the people are pushing back, and that's a blessing. Understand? Everybody are getting involved, and that's a good blessing. I want you to do one thing for me. I understand, I could be wrong. Mr. Mark Grantley says that when he went to Jamaica in 94 or 84, some 4, but he said when he went, and he graduated same time he went. So that's where I have the mix up, because he said he went to Jamaica in this 4 and he graduated in this 4. So I wanted to put this thing back that I could understand what he's trying to say, because he come back, he say same time he went straight and graduated the same year he went, the same year he graduated. I could be wrong.
No, he said he was he graduated top of the class.
Yes, he says it, but he also says that he went some 4, whether 94 or 84, but some 4, and he graduated. That's what I'm trying to understand. Did he say he graduated the same time? But he said yes, he graduated at the top of his class. But I have a mix-up there. I can't get it straight. So when I hang up on the line, you play it back, let me get the understanding of when he said he went on, because I want to be straight. Understand? So that's what's going on there. So my good, I'm going to be listening to you on Thursday night. So because we have not been no service. The next thing also, when I try to pull up your speech for your show on Thursday night, I can't get them no more. So it's 2 weeks now. I can't get it. No care what I do, it's not coming up. It's not coming up. They're playing me back. All these, even Alan Chastity coming online, not you coming last week Thursday. So whatever you did, it gone off and you had fixed it and it come right back up. So do whatever you have to do to put back your Thursday night online. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
So how is everything, Mr. Straight Talk?
Well, you look at it from Facebook or YouTube?
YouTube, it's on YouTube. That's where the problems coming from, on YouTube. Okay. But last night they give me so much Straight Talk shows. I said, I don't want all these. It's just one I want. I mean, there was so many. It was just, and I said, but look, they wouldn't even give me the one I want. So I don't know. But it's good. Let me just say happy birthday to my brothers and my sisters. Them celebrate yesterday. You know who birthday was yesterday, Mr. Straight Talk? Billy the Kid. You heard about Billy the Kid?
Billy the Kid.
Billy the Kid, the youngest killer in America, the most famous youngest killer, because he was only 21 when he died.
Okay, that's from the
and my brothers, them had a birthday with him. He was born in 18 something, and he 23rd of
that Billy,
November. So my brother, them celebrating a famous birthday. My brother Alvin is listening, and he loved Billy the Kid, but he ain't know that he didn't Billy the Kid and him born on the same day. So my Straight Talk family, Mr. Straight Talk, just do what you got to do. Thank you so much. Let's continue to do what we got to do. Detour, abracadabra. I said enough. Thank you.
Have a good night, my Straight Dog family. Always good to hear you. And we always give the Straight Dog family, we always satisfy the request. But this is exactly what Brantley said some time ago, my Straight Dog family.
When I graduated law school at the Norman Manley Law School in 1994, Mark Brantley from Henley Park and Brownhill was #1 in the Caribbean at Norman Manley Law School. And I went to Jamaica in 1994 and I graduated #1 in class. I got a certificate of merit. It was only the 4th time in the history of the Norman Manley Law School that a certificate of merit had been awarded. You know why I'm saying that? I am saying that because nobody could outsmart me.
Yes, that's what Mark Anthony Graham Brantley said. Nobody could outsmart me, he said. But like I mentioned earlier, I'll always mention, there's something called academic brilliance, yes. And we have to give him credit for his academic achievements. We give credit where credit is due. But we must fault him for his capacity to function. As I said, most people would refer to him as a functional dunce. Academically bright, but functionally dunce. My Straight Talk family, it's 10 past 9 o'clock. Let's see what's on the email board here so we can dispense of our emails as well as we look at those who like what I call the cloak of anonymity. And this email reads, be with me, my Straight Talk family. Good night, Mr. Liban. I don't understand something. If Brantley haven't signed anything with Destiny, how come Destiny already has a website advertising ads playing on radio every day? Interesting. That's a good question. How to buy a country for the price of a box of matches reads this other email. Find a lazy, desperate, eloquent leader who is functionally dunce, void of vision, and has not produced much. Promise he or she or whatever pronoun suits. Promise them the world. Add a vacation on a yacht to complete the illusion. Once transformation to a fully controlled puppet is complete, have them convince his countrymen to sell their sovereignty for peanuts and accept apartheid disguised as a special zone. Patches, I am worried. Is that all it takes for our leaders to run the house and pass crazy bills? To run to the house, beg your pardon, and pass crazy bills? A rich white man say, let's say all else checks out. Do we have proof that these discussions with top brands are indeed happening? Reads this other email. So I'm assuming 100 years from now, the investors' grandchildren and their great-grandchildren will own the island of Nevis, comments this emailer. This other email reads, Mr. Special Advisor to the Prime Minister, you're calling on Our Lady Janice to tell you from whom her father, the national hero Simeon Daniel, procured the lands from in the south of Nevis. You also want her to tell you how much he paid for them and from whom he purchased them. Well, I can enlighten you to some measure of degree. For I don't believe Lady Janice would ever deign and condescend herself to converse with you because of your discreditable character. You have no respect for yourself, much more for anybody else. You see, sir, I and numerous others have heard you boasted on radio that when you were working at Casper and Douglas was Prime Minister, you had cause to blast some bad words on him. Wow. Real unimaginable boy. And you did that with impunity and still were able to remain in your job. Wow, again. Because everyone in the Labour Party, including Douglas, was and still are afraid of your abusive mouth. So let me tell you about Simeon Daniel's land. I was part of the surveyor's team working with Mr. Llewellyn, an Antiguan surveyor, who surveyed all those lands now in question. According to the surveyor, the lands belonged to Mr. Johnny Clark of Caseby, who also owned hundreds of acreages in St. Thomas Parish. Several persons bought lands from Mr. Clark, including myself, and I am certain Mr. Daniel was one of them. Daniel was a renowned, distinguished personality with integrity and devoid of corrupt practices. Excuse me. Wow. Excuse me. Devoid of corrupt practices. One of Tim Daniel's last statements he made in the National Assembly was that accuse him of anything, but you dare not accuse him of corruption. When you want to imply and associate persons with corrupt practices, check yourself and those who tell you to ask Lady Janice that question. One thing I can say to you also, Edinburgh, he was never accused of being a political prostitute. Reads this email. Mr. Straight Talk, what they balling for now? Yesterday afternoon on Chico's Sunday afternoon program was a big cry for help and rescue. Citizens were calling in and raising their angry voices concerning the high level of marijuana smoking taking place in and around Basseterre on the streets and in public places. You see what is happening now? When Harris decided he was not legalizing nor decriminalizing marijuana smoking because you will find persons willfully and purposely blowing their smoke in persons' faces. The government ministers in Parliament conveniently castigated Harris for political reasons. The Prime Minister in his delight said he was fully acquainted with the use of marijuana because he grew up around it. His shocking statement stunned Jeffrey, causing a ripple of laughter among themselves, to the extent that Jeffrey almost lost balance in his seat in the Parliament. Harris's prediction has materialized. So what they crying for now? You, Milo Mox, don't blame the police for not enforcing the law. Blame the government and the silly mistakes they made, giving persons the right to smoke marijuana. Now it is out of control. And why should the police bother themselves when the AG breaking all the laws with impunity? Example set, example follow, reads this email. Good evening, Ambassador, reads this other email. Hope this email finds you well. Could you shed some light on the situation with geothermal in Nevis? And the statement from Minister Maynard that the federal government has taken over the geothermal in Nevis. Continue to play safe. To stay safe, beg your pardon. I haven't heard that recent comment from Congress Maynard. But it's 17 past the 9 o'clock hour, my Straight Talk family. And we looked at the thesis for tonight, which I've titled, as I said, Conceived in 36 months. And 36 months without your insulting your intelligence, we know it equates to 3 years. And this in the project, we understand, will have to be determined in 36 days, just about 36 days, because Oliver Johnson said he has no intention to move these negotiations into the new year. Putting some pressure on Brantley.
All the rumors that we already have a contract signed is completely false. So we're still negotiating with the government. We are in advanced negotiations, so we made it pretty far. But that might still take, I don't know how long, a couple of weeks, or hopefully sooner. I definitely don't want to have this go past New Year if we can, but we'll see where we end up.
Well, one has to be careful, my Straight Talk family, with the issue and pressure being put onto the NIA. And I know as well, whatever happens in Nevis with that particular proposal that they are reviewing or negotiating, one will recall that it has to come, or first goes to the NIA Assembly, and then it comes to the National Assembly. And I say, Terence Michael Jew would be, or commit political suicide if he goes ahead with this, with all the pushback. Caller, you're live.
Good evening, Mr. Lawyer.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, I've listened to some of what Mr. Jansen had to say in regards to destiny. And there are a number of things that comes to mind. One, Jansen is as disrespectful to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis as Mark Brantley is. Jansen believes that the people of Nevis stupid. Example, he is trying to displace the people who own land in the zone that he wants by offering them lands in a different area of Nevis that he perhaps owns, has already bought. Yet he is claiming that the very same division that he is displacing from that area, that we will be able to come back into the area and buy property or buy investment inside it. Now, he believed that we are stupid because if he wanted us to partner with him, he would have been negotiating with the landowners that particular investment or partnership. But then to tell them that they have to sell him, and they wanted every bit because everybody who they contacted, and some person would have said to them that we are willing to sell you a portion, but we'll keep a portion. Their argument, they wanted every bit. So how is it now he's going to change his tone and say that you're going to buy it from me for whatever the price is, and then if I want to have any stake inside here, I must come back and buy it from you. Look at this purchase. Let's say Jansen buying it from good price, $10 per square foot. And I am going to go back and buy it from him. Would you think he's going to sell me for $10 a square foot?
Of course not.
He will not. He's going to be selling me maybe $100 per square foot. The thing is, this is a deception from Jansen because Jansen knows that no division, ordinary division and petition, will be able to come into that zone and buy anything inside here. Now, he wants to twist now the proposal because all that was presented to us by our cabinet, headed by Dr. Joe, that this place is going to be a special sustainable zone. Jansen now is twisting it and wants to sell it as a special sustainable zone. And so one time he's speaking sustainable, and next time he's speaking economic. Which is which? Now, for me, it is clear to me that Jansen is the handler of Joe and Brantley. And he would have approached them with his proposal, with his stipulations, and they have to give him a stipulation what he wants or else. So, 36 months ago, he would have been in discussion with the government of St. Kitts and Nevis in regards to this. But less than 6 months ago, which is back in August 10th, the Premier of Nevis was saying he knows nothing. So who is telling them the truth? Because Jansen is in discussion with them for over 3 years. And the Premier is saying that he knew nothing. That means that this thing is shredded in a whole bunch of secrecy from the beginning to the end. We go a little further because he's giving now basically a deadline that he wants this thing passed into law so they could sign off on it before the end of this year. And it brings back to mind what Mark Branson told us at a town hall meeting at the Anglican Church School, that the investor is the one who calls for this SSVR. So Janssen has been given all the guarantees from the government of St. Kitts and Nevis that he will get whatever he requested, because what? He has one thing that they want. He has money. They want money. But the last thing I'm going to say to you, that Janssen indicates that the people who are going to come to live in his zone would be able to vote in our elections. Now, think about this. Recently, the Premier was talking about having boundary changes and adding 2 more seats to the fight that Nevis has. And I sat down and I tried to figure out how he's going to get 2. I can see how he gets an extra 1, but how he's going to get 2. But I realize now how he's going to get 2, because if you're going to bring in 10,000 people living in that zone, and the electoral law says the constituencies must be as close as possible to each other. You see where the 10,000 can be split in 2, and he has the 2 that he's talking about.
Of course.
Okay? And so, we as the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, we have to rally together and stand here together, because Janssen wants to do what he wants. I heard him mention that they're going to have their own court. But then they're still going to be controlled by our court, and the whoever it is, DPP can over and take over the system.
Yes,
why do we have to bend back to give them their own court? Why do the government want to give them their own security forces? And then he's going to tell us that this is in comparison to Four Seasons. Four Seasons never asked for a court. Four Seasons never asked for its own security forces. Four Seasons never offered any business. I mean, the Premier made it abundantly clear that they're going to be doing business inside there. Basically, going to put TDC and Hasford and others out of business, because we'll be able to trade with the zone cheaper than going to sell Martin. And so, this is a red herring, regardless of what the Janssens want and the Premier wants. Janssen's focus is to get a place where he can control and they can control. Yep. That's why he said he don't like Belgium. They have rules and regulations that is going to regulate him. So he's going to come into our territory and tell our government what he wants to be comfortable with. And our government is willing to sign off with Janssen what Janssen wants. That should not happen. It must not happen.
You mentioned deception, right? What's your reaction when he would make a statement, say that literally no one knew what he wanted the land for? I mean, if he said what he wanted the land for, it would affect the price, the selling price, won't it?
That is true. No, I find it very hard to believe that he would have contacted Sharon Brantley to buy up all of the land outside in that area of Nevis, and that he would have never disclosed to Sharon what he wanted for. I do not believe that. And then the Premier wants us to believe that Janssen and his team contacted his wife, and up to July, when he was lying and saying he knew nothing, that he had no discussion with his wife. He and his wife had no discussion. He is not going to fool me. Yeah. And he cannot fool anybody. He is just, well, I don't know to hear and answer who it was, but my brother is such a deceiver that you cannot take anything from him. Yep. I am convinced and I'm satisfied that Janssen went at him, and he recommended that the first time and the last time that something happened on the island of Nevis and Mrs. Brantley was involved. Okay? And so that is deception of the highest order. And everybody who they deceived and would have made agreement to sell them the land, they should challenge this in court. I nearly believe, because he is admitting that you bought the people and shaded under scrutiny, secrecy. The people should demand that they want the land back. But listen, Mark and Joe are willing to sell this country out for a couple of dollars. I was shocked when I heard this this evening that Janssen is going to have received CBI shares. I mean, that shocked me. They're boasting that he has so much money, he's going to spend so much money. Well, why do he need CBI money to be invested in his development? That is our money. And we must not allow people to keep coming inside here and take our money right on our back and we get little or nothing out of it. The last thing I'm going to say to you, Batches, is that the Premier is on record as saying that there are stiff penalties inside whatever agreement they're going to have, whereby the investor is going to have to pay $75 million worth of land. But the consequences for the Nevis and Kiddisham people will be severe. Janssen was asked that very question this evening, and he didn't answer that question.
Oh, he didn't?
Okay? He scored all around, but he did not answer what will be the penalty if the government of St. Kitts and Nevis do not sign off and give you what you want. But the Premier has already said it's going to be a significant sum. One person said that he told them at a meeting it's going to be $23 billion if Janssen doesn't get what he wants. But when put on the spot, Janssen refused to answer that question as to what will be the liability to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. That's why he's boasting that he wants this thing off before the end of the year, because he knows he has the way he wants them.
Yep.
Thank you very much, my brother.
My pleasure, my brother. Always need some more people like yourself who could stand up and resist. Caller, I want to thank you for holding your live.
Yes.
Hello, caller.
Good night. Good night, Brother Patches.
Good night, my brother. How about that?
Allow me to make an announcement. I will not breach the protocol of your show, and I will not call names because I know I want it to be protected. And then I will get to the regular business. I'll make it brief. Patches, I am in the United States from 1990. And I am one of those persons who was willing to get what I need to get, and I think what I need to get, and come home. I've been working towards that. I didn't have a piece of land. I didn't left a piece of land home, but from my sweat, from my brow, I was able to accomplish buying a piece of land and gathering stuff over the years for my retirement. I've done that and was destined for more. But shocking news, all what I've working for and confirmed has been stolen. And stolen by people that I know, but I'm not going to call any names. Contemplating opening up an investigation, and I'm doing my part of it. Patches, I've lost everything. And it's heart-shattering. I know I am in for the... I dedicate myself for the political arena for the upcoming election. But as people will say, you have your life. But it's not easy for me to balance between that. I can tell you, I have been thrown off balance. And I take it real hard. But I will continue my quest. But I'm being robbed. And probably this is one of the biggest hoists in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And to all those people who have bought and are buying, turn those items into the police station and state your claim, because you have gotten your stuff from a thief who sold stuff that does not belongs to them. And he that taketh a gift that is wrongfully gotten, that gift of that unjust man are not accepted in the eyes of the Lord. Stolen things are selling, and these are rare items. I give you an example. MIG welders, plasma cutters. I invested in all those things. I work, and I invested in those things, and they were there for me. Okay, I can do welding. I can do a lot of things to pull myself out of any squalor. But they are stolen, so I am being thrown backward. But anyway, moving from that, I just wanted the general public and the whole world to know what happened to me. And it is hard. I felt it. I feel it real bad. Okay, because I didn't expect that.
We empathize with you, my brother. What's the next point?
Yeah. Anyway, the next point is coming back to the SSZ zone and Johnson. I didn't listen to much of what his statement, his prospective word today. But I'm going to make one general comment. Amongst the Premier, the Prime Minister, and all those who are aligned, no one is in this deal for nothing. Okay? These are transactional deals at our expense and of our sacrifice. Nevis and St. Kitts people do not condone to this drastic push, this robust push for our land to be sold. We don't want these deals continue. It should be null and void. It started wrong and it's going to end up wrong. And we are going to pay a hefty price. I know nothing is tabled to say law, but the path has been paved with this law of the SSZ. Be aware, be careful. This is a drastic, robust push. Our lands is all what we have, and to have lands is the best you ever earn. Money only gonna spend. But when your lands are gone, it's like you put yourself back into slavery, and that is self-destruction of you and you and you. Thank you for that perspective. Thank you for the time. And to all who listen, may God bless all of you. Bless the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. I will leave the rest time to somebody else, but if I get a chance, I'll come in again, moving forward. Thank you, Brother Patches.
Thank you for your contribution, as usual. And God bless you as well. Trust you will overcome the issues that you face. We go back to the lines. Caller, you live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller?
Yes.
Yes.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, my dear. You're not too clear. It's the lady with the dimples. I recognize the voice now.
You can hear me now?
A little better. Sound like you're in a foxhole.
You can hear me now. What trying to move you to hear me?
That's much better now, my dear.
Yes. How are you?
I am always much better when I hear your voice. What about you?
Okay, that's good. I'm giving that thanks that I take on an open my voice. Giving that. Time that
I there? You're breaking up though. Are you there? You seem to be breaking up. Are you moving around?
I'm moving that you could hear me.
Okay, that's much better. Yeah. Yeah.
And telling a lot of Marian Harris. You see, the light is coming now. It was in the yard. But he couldn't go inside because you know them watching him. Watching him. So going sorry. 2000. So he must have been when he talking about how much people so easy. He could read, he could not read at all. You see all them lawyers, where he and King lawyers, this country here going underwater, don't pay. Lawyers, country here, and people, and that, thinking what people can do, for the sake of money, they don't have the money, and they don't even going to report anything because kings, the son, send money. More you spend, more you continue to spend. Let them go ahead with this country, pull up and people put more after. Come. And they will come. And I need to stop calling honorable. It's not honorable. It's yeah. Lawyers they be. And when you see you a lawyer, you don't get you that easy. You just have to pay price for lawyers. I think it's a Nevis going underwater. It's underwater. It's a Nevis football. Also up and down in the two workforce. They go ahead. But you have a pleasant night.
Have a pleasant night as well. And to apologize for the quality of that call. It's not the best quality, but we welcome that intervention nonetheless. And as it relates to a comment made by that previous caller in terms of the shares, remember Mark Brantley said this when asked a question about the CBI in relation to the Destiny Project. And he gave us what I call a convoluted answer. Wasn't quite clear in terms of what he was saying. He said this.
About the connectivity with CBI. Now, one of the things that has been said or mooted in the agreements that are being negotiated is that every single proposed investor in that South Coast project will have to pay the registration and processing fees for citizenship by investment, even if that person does not then want it or apply for it. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So once you come into that zone, you have to pay the money, right, up front. If you choose not to, because many people choose not to, they're not interested in citizenship, then that's a matter for you. But whether you decide to apply for citizenship or not, you have to pay that money up front. That is one of the aspects that has been negotiated just in terms of generating revenue for the Citizenship by Investment program and for the government of St. Kitts and the government of Nevis as well.
But those citizenship fees are governed by legislation. Once you apply for citizenship, right? I mean, that's the only way you're part of the process. And Mark and or Olivier Johnson have not denied that, and Drew has been very quiet as well, that this is a CBI project. Johnson spoke about seed money. He did say this about seed money and the project.
From what I have read online, I can see that you are a crypto billionaire or a cash billionaire. I'm not too sure, but my question is, with a project of this magnitude, where is the funding coming from?
Yeah, thank you, and nice to meet you. Good question too. I won't go into specifics about my net worth. I think it's always overstated, right? I can tell you that I have enough to fund this project, and like any project that's proper residential, you work through a combination of seed capital, where you fund the first phase of that. Then you will start taking deposits or payments for the units, and that will help contribute building it. And we will abide by strict rules that we cannot spend any money ourselves and take it away, because I know in the past there were some pyramid schemes where you start building a project and then you wait to sell the next units and you take the money already, and we will have strict accounting standards that can never happen. We will also be very transparent about that. But yeah, what we basically need is the seed capital to get to the phase where, and already invested a lot of money to get to where we are today, right?
And he spoke about seed capital. Is this a public benefit option? What it is under the CBI? Because you just can't collect CBI fees just like that. The CBI is governed by its own legislation. And I'm saying that Mark bellyached about 5.5 thousand shares granted to Caribbean Galaxy. And he has a right. He had a right to bellyache. But he now gives Destiny 10,000 shares. If it's under the public benefit option at $275,000 per share, maths is my strongest weak point. That looks like, what's it, $2.7 billion? What's the estimated cost to build out the project? These are issues that are not being addressed. This information is not being provided. And this borders on criminality. No wonder Mark no longer talks about fair share for Nevis. He is seeing something coming home from this project. That's why he's so desperate. And yes, Oliver Johnson's net worth is overstated, as he's not a billionaire. But if this project in its form is not stopped, then he will make billions. And that's the issue, my straight dog family. And again, I want to commend and thank the patriotic minds that still exist in St. Kitts and Nevis. I spoke to Gada, Gerald Anthony Dwyer-Astafan. I can think about Charles Wilkin, King's Counsel, KC. Sam Kondo, former Deputy Prime Minister. DJ Marishaw, he's been taking the baton on this long leg. I heard Kansi Mitcham. Dr. Kelvin Daly, I think is his name. Carlisle Jeffords. Is it Carlisle? Carlisle? Yes, is his right name? Carlisle, yes, over there from Nevis. Hope I got the right name, Carlisle. That woman, Miss Lawrence, and Janet Daniel Hodge, Timothy Harris. Many divisions whom I can't call, whom I don't know. But all divisions and petitions too, who recognize the importance of their land. We have to commend them. The new colonization doesn't require settlers to cross oceans anymore. Investors cross borders digitally. Get your computer, your iPhone, and they purchase neighborhoods they will never live in, pricing out residents they will never meet. You heard that caller earlier about locals buying into the destiny. That's true. Never trust anything you hear or that comes from their mouths. He said he's a Belgian. He don't like Belgium. So why don't they give up their passport? Give them up. Give it up.
Yes, I do have a Belgian passport, right? I actually have thought many times already to give that one up, but the problem is like I can't travel to Europe. I don't know if I can have visa free with St. Kitts for more than 3 months, so it caused some problems, right? Because I have a lot of family in Europe. So, but for me, my Belgian nationality, I don't feel Belgian anymore. Honestly, I have nothing to do with that country. I don't like the way they're going. So I feel much more aligned with Nevisians and St. Kitts and Nevis. That's all I can say about my passport, right? In the future, I only have one other passport, which is the Belgian one. Will I give that one up at one point? Maybe yes, if I can find a solution for Europe to be able to visit for long periods of time if I wanted to. But for me, that doesn't mean anything anymore.
If it means nothing to you anymore, Olivier Hansen, give it up. Roger Ver gave up his US passport. So many people gave up their passports. But the Belgian passport, Belgium is where your heart is. But let us defend our heritage, my Straight Talk family. Let us protect our land and chart a future that respects our scale, our needs, and our people. Together, we must stand for Nevis and St. Kitts too. Together, we must say no to this reckless experimentation. Together, we must choose a future that is sustainable, responsible, and ours. Not one that is built on deception. It has to be deception. If Olivier Hansen is saying that literally no one knew why he wanted this land. That's what he said.
The claim that somehow the real estate agents were aware, like way up front, and it's all like this political. This is not true, right? We did start optioning land way before that, but we didn't tell anyone why we were doing that. So we started probably by now 20 months ago, I think, just ballparking here. But for the first year, we didn't tell anyone why. No one, right? Literally no one.
But my Straight Talk family, deception. These people keep insulting our intelligence, reads this email. He had such a wonderful plan for the country he loves, more than his own, and kept it a secret. Never told anyone. Now we are supposed to believe he is going to bring gold, frankincense, and myrrh for the people of Nevis. And we don't care what he says now. There is no way we are going to believe he comes and hires some gullible real estate agent who is going to help him buy half of Nevis, and he doesn't know what it's for. He needs to go back where he came from and take the premier and the real estate agent with him, reads this email. Patches, this what happened on SSZ Zone is that Mark Brantley knows about this since 2021. His wife was going around trying to ask the landowners to buy their lands. But you see, Mark could not get it work under Timothy. So he had to mash up the unity government so he could get it work under Drew. I heard that story myself. Patches, I would like Mr. Marisha, now that he has been qualified as a journalist, to attend press conferences and roundtable discussion put on by the Prime Minister. It would be very interesting to hear the DJ poking some hard questions on Drew, and at the same time teaching our local journalists how to get brave to ask the Prime Minister hard questions, because these softy questions they're asking Drew is a big joke. Reads this email. And as we wind down tonight's conversation, my Straight Talk family, in the event to join me in a tardy way, you join me late, and you may have missed the crux of our discussion. Our thesis, we titled, Conceived 36 months ago, Destiny Project approved in 36 days. 36 days, yes, because it's the approval deadline. As Olivier Johnson said, he's not going into the new year discussing this project. He didn't tell us directly, but we have gleaned from his comments that this is a project he was discussing for years. Conceived, like I said, 3 years ago, 36 months ago. Destiny approval deadline in 36 days. He has no intention to go into the new year. Let's take this call and say goodnight to this caller. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yeah, Patches, good evening, man.
Good evening, my brother.
Yeah. Good night to the listeners home and abroad. Hey, Patches, this is that email you just read about the DJ Marisha. If he is now a reporter or whatever, I really asked a question to one of my confidants recently, and I really envisioned that. I asked myself and I asked the question, could you imagine DJ Marisha at one of the Prime Minister's round table, asking him some hard questions? And now we have an email coming in saying such. And I think the Prime Minister got a round table tomorrow, right? 1:30, I think.
Yeah, but
I've seen an advertisement somewhere.
I don't think you can walk into his round table sessions, I believe.
Just like that, yes.
He's
going to screen.
Invites the journalists.
He's going to screen. Yes, I got you. I got you on that. I got you on that. I understand that too. But interesting email. Yes. Yeah, man. Patches for me, man. By now everybody should know where I stand with this Destiny Project. Lots of stuff that I would really want to say. I really can't say it on here. I emphasized with the caller earlier about him losing his items. I must put that out the way first and said that. I emphasized with that caller there. By the sweat of your brow, you shall eat bread. A lot of people in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis and elsewhere, they don't want to go, they don't want to work, man. They don't understand and they don't realize how difficult it is for us out here, to work so hard and make a contribution back in the society where we're from. They take us for granted and they try to treat us a certain way. We are citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis as well, and we deserve that respect. Back to the SSD law and the Destiny Project. If we are so against that Destiny Project, I'm going to focus more on that because there's been a lot of chatter, a lot of narrative about that. And we now see Jensen's coming forward in some on the podcast this afternoon. And what was that? A Zoom call for some select people last week, Sunday, whatever time that was. But if we're so dissatisfied with this stuff and we don't want this stuff to come, There's no other way to stop it but to unite and mobilize nationally. You see all those names you just kicked out a few minutes ago? All of those persons who are so feel like they have the know-how and who believe and who we know can lead the people in the streets, they should come together and take that action. We should not stand idly by. If we don't want this project on Nevis to come and we want to stop that project, as an example, fighting against this SSD law and the project itself, Patches, there's no other way to go with this but to protest against it. We have to unite both islands. The system in Nevis and St. Kitts is terribly flawed, man. I'm so sorry this stuff is happening in my own country of my birth. Me, I've been fighting for certain rights, and I've been fighting constantly, bro. But one thing I know, man, if you don't stand up, bro, you're going to get run over. Imagine we have a white boy telling us what's going to happen in our own country. Where there's a liar, there's a thief. Man, all of these things we got from our grandparents and the way how we were raised, Patches, is nothing compared to what we're seeing happening right now. And certain behaviors that's been shown by certain people. Their character gone through the door. Their morals gone through the door. We weren't raised like that, man. We have been taken for fools. Man, I listened to that guy up to this afternoon. And our leaders have been telling us so much lies, bro. Patches, there's no way the people of St. Kitts and Nevis to stand for this SHIT and this BS. We should not stand for this. And all those political parties who think that they got so much clout, the mango is ripe to be eaten right now. We can't wait for the mango to get rotten. We got to eat it when it's ripe. It is ripe right now for a national protest. We just standing there and talking and not doing nothing. We can't see the future. But all of the negativities and the evil and bad stuff that may come, we will just got to deal with it if we allow this project to happen. There is so much conflict of interest, man. The war of words is here right now. We are hearing and listening to the war of words. You're not going to fool me. But are we going to stand there and let these people fool us? Man, if we got so much intelligence, man, we should just act appropriately. And I'll leave it there, Patches, man. People, you got to stand up and rise up for your rights. If you don't, we will deal with the consequences later on. That project that's supposed to come on Nevis, I wish I had a magic wand that I can wave the project in right now, and let's see what the repercussions will be right now ahead of time. It's a lot of conflict of interest, and when you listen to these people, it's just all about money. The money only going to go in certain people's hands, and we know whose hands it's going to go in. We know that. The CBI, we lived through that for 42, 43 years, and the money didn't trickle down to the common working class people. And when that Destiny project go through, the money is only going to go in certain person's hands. The poor people will keep suffering. Thanks a lot, Patches, man. You guys have a good night.
Thank you very much for your contribution. And I'm happy that my Straight Dog family is paying close attention. I kept saying Carlisle Jeffers all night, and I knew it wasn't right. It is, in fact, I wanted to say Carlisle Powell. I was one of the guys who very vocal on this issue as well. And I just got a quotation from, I spoke about our new colonizers, and I just got a quotation from a good friend of mine from Newtown, living overseas. And I'll share it with you from the former Vice President of Zambia, Simon Mwanza, Kapwelpi. If we don't handle our independence very well, colonizers will come back in the form of investors. Very interesting quotation. If we don't handle our independence very well, colonizers will come back in the form of investors. And as I said, this new colonization doesn't require settlers to cross oceans. Investors cross borders digitally, purchasing neighborhoods they will never live in, pricing our residents they will never meet. And as I wrap tonight's programming, my Straight Dog family, I'm going to conclude with the recommendations I advanced earlier in terms of ways to ensure that the principles of fairness that will guide our decisions now and in the future. Because it seems as though our current representatives take lightly their responsibility, which is to the people they serve. The responsibility to the rule of law and to the principles of fairness that must guide every public decision. So I want to leave you with the following, that there needs to be full public disclosure of all communications, proposals, and understandings related to this land project or this Destiny project. There needs to be an independent review of any discussions involving the potential use of eminent domain or possible use of it. There needs to be a pause on all decisions until the public has been fully heard, concerns have been fully addressed, and transparency has been fully restored. There needs to be a clear guarantee that no landowner will be pressured or marginalized in these negotiations. And as I conclude, I must state as well that this issue is about more than land. It is about trust. It is about commitment to democratic process or the democratic process. It's about ensuring that no one, no government, no investor, no official can move forward on a project that reshapes our community without explicit, informed consent, the explicit, informed consent of the people. So my people from both sides of the Narrows, St. Kitts and Nevis and St. Kitts, whichever order you wish, let's just agree to move forward together. But let us do so with integrity, openness, and respect. The people deserve nothing less. And I speak to you all times as an Division born in St. Kitts. And I implore all divisions to stand united by a simple but powerful conviction. It's not about party. It's about country. And that conviction should be Nevis is not for sale. And our future cannot be gambled away on a reckless experiment disguised as development. We have all heard the grand promises surrounding the so-called Destiny project, a project promoted as though it could transform our island into the next Dubai, the next Singapore, the next DIFC. But let us speak honestly, my people. Such comparisons are so unrealistic and downright misleading because they ignore geography. They ignore our population, our culture, and the delicate balance of our environment. They ignore who we are as a people. And the world, around the world, we know there are over 6,000 special economic zones. And history has shown that thousands of them have already failed. We don't need to list them. They failed because they were imposed on small communities, like Nevis, imposing 10,000 settlers, 80% or more of the population, almost doubling the population. They failed because they made big promises, but delivered bigger problems. And now we are told to risk Nevis on the very same model. My friends, ask yourselves, who truly benefits? Sharon Mama Brantley, who can make $50 million in real estate commissions? Daniel Brantley, another $50 million as a service provider? My Straight Talk family, let's just be clear. That Destiny Project is not development, that is displacement. It is not opportunity, it is overreach. It is not a destiny crafted by divisions. It is a destiny imposed upon divisions. And we are being told that this project will make us the financial hub of the Caribbean. What absurdity. We must face the reality and do not allow Mark Brantley, Olivia Johnsons, or anyone for that matter to continue to insult our intelligence. How can anyone in their right mind make a comparison with Destiny in Nevis and the DIFC in Dubai? Nevis is not Dubai. Nevis is not a desert metropolis with millions of people and vast open land. Nevis is a small island within a federation of 2 islands, built on community, culture, and a fragile environment that cannot simply absorb massive population shocks without consequences. Who will protect the rights of divisions in a privately designed enclave that's more influence than the people who build the island with their own hands? We know the answer. And that is why we must stand firm. Let us be absolutely clear. Development is welcome. Let's embrace investment, innovation, and progress. But let's refuse, absolutely refuse, to support any scheme that threatens our sovereignty, our environment, or our identity. Our island's destiny must be shaped by its people, not by outside interests, not by unrealistic comparisons, and not by projects that promise everything, but compromise everything we hold dear. Nevis is small, yes, but our dignity is not. Our land is limited, but our resolve is not. Our population is modest, but our voice is powerful. So today, let us say with confidence and clarity that this project may be someone else's dream, but it is not Nevis's destiny. Let us defend our heritage, protect our land, and chart a future that respects our scale, our needs, and our people. Together, let us stand for Nevis and St. Kitts. Together we say no to the reckless experimentation. Together we choose a future that is sustainable, responsible, and ours, our future, not one that is built on deception. Why would Olivia Johnson hire Sharon Mama Brantley, knowing fully well that her husband would have to sign off on his project proposal? He couldn't do that in Belgium, where he lives, and where he is still a citizen, and perhaps will always be. He would be cited for bribery. And DPP Adlai Smith must look into this incestuous arrangement. My straight dog family, real estate, as I said, is a new method of colonization. In this, the 21st century, colonization does not come dressed in flags or declaration. It operates through contracts, speculative capital, and special economic zones. My straight dog family, Mark Bellaic, as I wrap, about 5,500 shares, and I would hastily say he was right. Shares given to the prison project. But how is he not bellyaching about the shares given to Destiny? This is criminal. No wonder no longer he talks about fair share. And Johnson speaks about seed money. Yes. He talks about seed money, my straight dog family.
All the rumors that we already have a contract signed is completely false. So we're still negotiating with the government. We are in advanced negotiations, so we made it pretty far, but that might still take, I don't know how long, a couple of weeks, or hopefully sooner. I definitely don't want to have this go past New Year if we can, but we'll see where we end up.
Well, let's not be fooled, my straight dog family.
From what I have read online, I can see that you are a crypto billionaire or a cash billionaire. I'm not too sure, but my question is, with a project of this magnitude, where is the funding coming from?
Yeah, thank you. Nice to meet you. Good question too. I won't go into specifics about my net worth. I think it's always overstated, right? I can tell you that I have enough to fund this project. And like any project that's proper residential, you work through a combination of seed capital, where you fund the first phase of that. Then you will start taking deposits or payments for the units, and that will help contribute building it. And we will abide by strict rules that we cannot spend any money ourselves and take it away, because I know in the past there were some pyramid schemes where you start building a project and then you wait to sell the next units and you take the money already, and we will have strict accounting standards that can never happen. We will also be very transparent about that. But yeah, what we basically need is the seed capital to get to the phase where, and I already invested a lot of money to get to where we are today, right?
But my straight dog family, yes, his net worth is overstated. He's not a billionaire. But if this project in its form is not stopped, he will make billions. The Chamber has spoken, the Bar Association has spoken, and the Hotel and Tourism Association have spoken. And we must commend, as I close again, and thank patriotic minds like Charles Wilkin Casey, Gada, Gerald Anthony Dwyer Astafan, Sam Conda, DJ Marishaw, Concy Mitchum, Dr. Kelvin Daly, and Carlisle Powell is the name I should have had all night. Carlisle Powell. A lady, Miss Lawrence, Janice Hodge, Daniel Hodge, Timothy Harris, and divisions, all divisions, and petitions too, who recognize the importance of the land. Let this man stay in Belgium.
Yes, I do have a Belgian passport, right? I actually have thought many times already to give that one up. But the problem is, like, I can't travel to Europe. I don't know if I can have visa free with St. Kitts for more than 3 months. So it caused some problems, right? Because I have a lot of family in Europe. So, but for me, my Belgian nationality, I don't feel Belgian anymore. Honestly, I have nothing to do with that country. I don't like the way they're going. So I feel much more aligned with Nevisians and St. Kitts and Nevis. That's all I can say about my passport, right? In the future, I only have one other passport, which is the Belgian one. Will I give that one up at one point? Maybe yes, if I can find a solution for Europe to be able to visit for long periods of time if I wanted to. But for me, that doesn't mean anything anymore.
Stay in Belgium, Olivier. All divisions and petitions, we recognize the importance of our land. But this scheme was conceived 36 months ago. Destiny approval deadline in 36 days. Let us resist these vagabonds who want to deceive our people. That's my story tonight, and I am not going to change it. I must thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight. As always, I must thank you, the many viewers who have joined our conversation tonight. Those who sent emails and those who called. Remember, you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that reason, I say a big thank you. I'm Ian Patches Liban, and God's spear until we connect on Thursday for another edition of Straight Talk. Be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. And remember that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you must believe. So when we wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Thursday.
In the morning.